Hello and welcome back to Purple in Peril, a Warlock life. This is level 13. I've changed one or two items of gear for this level. We have some upgraded bracers. You'll see they have two slots there. Always worth looking out for and keeping those double slotted items that you find in quest reward lists or random loot that you might pick up. Cloak, the same, has two slots there and some nice things. Spell saves. Insightful Charisma would be more for the Blaster Warlock build or the DC type, which is what my main character was for a long time. That's why we've got that. But the stacking Vitality on there is nice. What do we have on there? Oh, resistance, of course. I always try and get a resistance item on there. Parrying, boosting saves up a further 3. So very nice items both. I added the Radiant Scepter and I replaced the Barovian Scepter that was giving us potency with a better potency item, the Pansophic Circlet. So being as we're the tanky build and we're not that focused on DC, I sacrificed the helm that was giving us 2 DC for the Pansophic Circlet, which is giving us more spell power. Now I just hope, because the helm had some movement speed on it as well, we've got a Sapphire of Snowpeak speed in that ring, so we should still be okay for speed, because slow run speed sucks. I think that's everything on the gear side. Spells, we got one or two new spells. The level 5 one, I don't take, what's the obvious one? It's so obvious I've forgotten what it's called. Tensor's Transformation. It would be awesome to fit onto this build, giving 4 con an extra armor class, but the double cooldown on the spells, especially when leveling, I just really don't like it, so I don't even take it because I wasn't using it. So I've gone for Waves of Exhaustion instead. -6 strength and dex can help your tentacles, which goes on a strength check, and web, which is strength and reflex. So that's quite nice to have. When you fire that into, it comes out in a cone in front of you, you fire that into a group of opponents. It is subject to spell resistance, but as far as I know, there isn't a save associated with it, so that's nice. Otherwise, we've swapped Blur out because we're using Displacement now, when the need is there. Swapped it out for Sleet Storm. I'm not actually using that yet because, as covered previously, we don't have freedom of movement on our gear at the moment. We've got the Golden Greaves for the excellent damage reduction they give. I didn't mention where these come from. They come from one of the quests in the Desert Sands. I think it's the long one, the what's that one that everybody hates doing because it takes so long to get to, and the quest itself is a long one to do. There you go, I've cheated. It's Chains of Flame it comes from. One of the optional encounters. I say optional, but you kind of go through it anyway on your way round. So if you do the quest Change of Flame, the chances are you'll get a shot at this pair of boots, and they are really good. Did I add any other spell? No, that's it for the spells. One more thing to mention. You might be thinking, why is he not using a shield if he's already taken a shield feat? Well, it's a good question. Shields bring with them the possibility of arcane spell failure. A large shield, most of them anyway, would give a 15% arcane spell failure chance. Now, not until level 20 can you slot a Sapphire of spell agility, which mitigates 15% of arcane spell failure. So I don't plan on using a shield until at least then. That Sapphire can be a random drop in quests. You can get it by trading 20 tokens of the 12 to Lahar near the Tower of the 12, which is the same place I think that you go to get your hearts of wood for your true reincarnations. Or it's a store item as well, if you'd rather spend DDO points to acquire it. I think it's 175 DDO points. And I think that just about does it for the waffle this time. The quest I've chosen is the Newcomers here in the marketplace next to this lovely fountain. It's a long old quest. Should hopefully allow us to demonstrate the survivability of the build once more. Oh, I've got blur on the thing, and I've just finished saying that we have got rid of it. Well done. I think everything's on that should be on, yeah. Toggle our shining through. There you go, we're starting with nearly 400 temp hit points as a barrier, so that's nice.
You emerge from the jungle into an open clearing, only to spot a figure. Footsteps can be heard from further down the path.
One of the complaints about this quest, or this chain when it came out, was that you basically just go from one big pack to the next. But that kind of favours our build, so hopefully we'll be able to take advantage. I'll be throwing the crowd control down with the tentacles and the web, and hopefully destroying most of the opponents with the two AoE blasts we have. Again, not quickening the spells because we have a long way to go. You can see the web's not perfect, but it's still doing very nicely. We don't have that high a DC on it. 33. 33 is not terrible.
The door opens, revealing a lush waterfall. Twisting paths lead deep into the dense jungle.
Oh, that wasn't good. Come on, come back to the webs, people. Oh, I hate those red crowns with the... is it life bearer or something they call them? When they get a free health bar when you knock them down to nothing. Oh yes, please, thank you. Oh, that was a nice one. Now this is going to be tough.
Several giants
Especially as I think I can see a Reaper in the middle of all that. Let's
Let's
center the tentacles on him. Get the web down there. Watching the health. As soon as that goes down, I'm going to hit the shining through if needs be. Get the displacement back up. Don't knock us down, you. Crikey, he's got a lot of health. chip away at him. Shining through back on. Okay. Now, as we have the knock as a packed spell, I'll try and open some of the locked doors and chests. As I mentioned previously, it only really works in heroics because of our low charisma. Relatively speaking, it falls off in epic very quickly. Let's see if we can gather a big group round us here. Yeah. I think that could be the shape of things to come. At least I hope so. Yeah, the one thing the build doesn't like is these pesky ranged things that refuse to come and
distant sound
and
tells
hug.
you that a ward has been disabled.
Let's try and take that one group to another group here. Oh, there's a Reaper in there as well. So web is very nice for when the tentacles is on cooldown, just to keep the crowd control coming. Oh, we've been fatigued or something.
With the magical barrier dispelled, you can now explore deeper into the caverns.
This to our behind us is the excuse me.
The sound of a door
This is
rumbling
an
open
optional.
can be heard to the east. One of the fiercest lizard folk has made this room
Try and
into
web
its
him
den.
down if we
The
can.
creature hisses menacingly
Oh,
as
no.
you approach.
I think he's going to take some beating. Thankfully, the web's taking care of him.
The creature emits a guttural groan and collapses.
So you can see from the way the enemies always appear in these big groups, it would be quite a nightmare of a time for
A raised platform
like a
can be seen
ranged
on the far side.
character. But for one like this,
You
it does
pull the
rather
lever,
well.
and
If
a
you
distant
haven't been in
platform
here
suddenly
before
begins
or
moving.
not really seen what goes on, it's just kind of a pull one lever to get another platform to come. So we've got this one here coming for us. It's a bit fiddly at times, but you'll get there. If you've got one or two of your group who really hate the jumpy type of things, you can stick to the right there to avoid the air jets. I didn't quite manage it. Or you can switch them off by using that that lever there. You can have some of your group just wait for the ladder, the first person up, as is the case with many of these things in the game, can drop a ladder for the other group mates to benefit from. Have we lost our jump? So that one over there, if we turn the aura off, we can shoot that to stop the jets from, the first lot of jets from coming, and then this second lot we're just going to try and jump through. You can, as you go past, hit the lever again and it stops those, but it's a bit hit and miss, no pun intended. So we're just going to jump for that ledge, and then that's your lever for the ladder to help your fellows. That sets that that thing going.
The door opens, releasing a sudden blast of moist air.
So between your two blasts, web and tentacles, it's a good recipe for success. Oh, that's a mistake. See, I didn't target the web there, so it just went anywhere, basically just in front of me, and that's why the boo-boo happened. Also, I forgot to put our aura back on. I took it off so I would be able to use the throwing dart, because I think while you have a Warlock aura going, you can't do that kind of thing. So I'm trying always to target the front one in the group, so that the
You can make out the outlines of
the
small
spell
dwellings in
spreads
the
out and
distance,
affects the rest of
but
the
a
group.
magic barrier blocks exploration in that direction.
Spell point wise, we've been doing well with the souls. I think we've got quite lucky with them so far. Although, as I say, there are shrines at intervals, so don't worry too much if you're running low. There's one at the end of this section too. Come on then, let's have all of you.
With the lizard folk defeated, Alanithris calls for you to come to the front gate.
Even if you're not too interested in the crafting, you can sell some of the rarer craftables for platinum if you're a bit short of plat. Or, if you're really lucky, you can find some Eberron dragon shards, which some of which anyway can give you a bonus to experience earned if you make them up into sorry, if you trade 3 of them to specific people. You can look that up on the wiki if you're interested. It's small Eberron dragon shard and medium Eberron dragon shard. I think the small ones can be traded in
This
threes.
passageway has collapsed. but a hole
for
has been excavated
a
to give
potion
access
of
to the hallway
10%
below.
XP bonus, and the medium ones can be traded in 3s for a 20% boost over, I think, 6 hours. So not too shabby. So it's a nice way for people who don't normally deal with consumables like that, such as myself, to acquire some nice things and try maybe the strategy like I posted about recently for the epic reincarnation, to stack all the sagas in one epic life and then take them all under the effects of an XP boosting potion to give your next epic life a real kickstart. So we have 2 of these sort of control rooms to access to unlock the puzzle room in the middle.
The lever is pulled, and energy begins to flow towards the central chamber.
And just be a bit careful further round here. There can be traps on the floor, force traps. Possibly on this corner. Or on this corner. There's like little pressure plates on the floor. Now this door, when you open it, the opponents appear behind you somewhere in this area. So it's a good idea to have 1 or 2 of your party, if you're in a group, standing there ready to maul them. And that's the second one we're going to go into. There can be traps on here as well.
As the lever activates, energy pulses into the central chamber.
Now there can be some respawns. We're going back into that central area which we can now access, but sometimes things have respawned down here, so just have an eye out. Or maybe not. I think they did remove some of the spawns from this quest, if you can believe that, the number of things we've seen on the way.
An unnatural cold radiates throughout this room, which is dominated by a glowing magic device. 2 gems adorn
Simon
the
says
control
puzzle.
panel that Alanithris mentioned.
Think of it as a phone keypad and you won't go far wrong.
The gate to the west slides open, clearing the way into Dunalenthia's chamber.
Refresh our shining through. Ooh, that's the example of our friendly traps. So you see pressure plates on the floor. Luckily for me, I tend to have the temporary hit points up, so it didn't do anything. I actually tried the build against one of the nastier traps I
Dunalanthia
know,
stands stiffly on the
which is
platform
the
above.
one in
Her unnatural
the jungle
movements
of Khyber,
tell
the
you that
force
she's
trap
being
on the
magically
door.
compelled by the cultists
I used
surrounding
the
her.
stanch and shining through, and he managed to walk through without taking any actual hit point damage, so I was quite pleased with that. So here at the end, if you didn't know, you just get rid of these three first, and then you focus on the person at the end, not the dragon. When the person dies, the quest completes. So although the dragon is firing on you, just focus down the Orlanthi. Put some stanch in just in case. Oof, nasty.
Orlanthi falls,
Good stuff.
releasing Dunalanthia from her magical compulsion.
And that'll do us. So you could see, I guess I chose this one to sort of illustrate the new play style when you take the level 12. If you decide to switch to the aura, you become more survivable, quite a bit more survivable. You can just drag a load of things around you, helped by the web and tentacles to hold them in place, and then just blast away with your two Eldritch Burst and Spirit Blast, and that takes care of most things, at least on the lower Reaper difficulties. I certainly don't recommend this build for, unless you're in a decent group, for trying the higher up. I mean, as we've just seen there, he could quite comfortably have done, you know, 1 or 2 Reaper Skulls higher, but beyond that, he's going to have to just chip away. There's not enough damage, I don't think, coming out, and he would be taking quite a lot more because the enemies would last longer. But for Reaper 1 or 2, I would say it's absolutely fine. And the pace wasn't that bad, I don't think. So, as it's the first time I've experimented with using the aura so low in the leveling process, I'm pleasantly surprised. So I will stop waffling for now. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.